I am Jake Watkins, and I make music under the name of Deadman's Lifestyle, or sometimes Diddly Dude Man Stuff. So I bought my first guitar when I was 11, I think, which I still have over there somewhere. And I don't know, I started off just like covering Green Day and like Weezer and whatnot. I think that probably, most 11-year-olds do stuff like that. And I started a few like really bad punk bands, like bad garage rock bands, and joined a few bad metal bands and whatnot. And but at a certain point, I started listening to like the music that I'd made and thinking like, some of this is really weird, but it's kind of stupid weird. I kind of like to make weird music, just weird music. And I don't know, at that time I didn't really have any influences that were really experimental. So I kind of had to go on like my own instincts for a while, and which was kind of strange because I'd second guess myself and think like, oh, this is, in like being early teens and kind of naive, thinking like, oh, this might be too weird for people. And little did I know that people listen to almost anything. But so I think the first band, which is kind of a cliche, but I heard Animal Collective for the first time, and I was like, oh, cool. These guys are kind of big, and they make weird music, so I can do that. I think the music kind of goes hand in hand with the project name, like Deadman's Lifestyle. Like when I first came up with it, it was like I wrote that down in some song lyrics, and I was like, hey, that's a cool name. And so I decided to call my project this, and my parents were like kind of like weirded out by it, I think. They were like, oh, Deadman's Lifestyle? Like, what's that mean? So the first answer I gave them was like, well, it's just like being lazy, like being a dead man, just kind of sitting around and not doing anything. But the more I've made music, the more I realized that like Deadman's Lifestyle also kind of means, is representative, I guess, of I don't know, my tendencies to shut myself off sometimes and kind of maybe go too far into my own head. And I think that's where a lot of my music comes from, is kind of the quiet moments in my life when I can just sit down and think a lot and kind of figure out what's going on in my life right now. And I try to shape my music after that. I have this really cheesy plot that it actually is supposed to like follow all of Deadman's Lifestyle's albums pretty much, and I've never explained it to anybody, and I don't think I will because it's really stupid, but it's something that I have fun with in my head. But the music is also, as much as it is like music, I also, when I'm making it, I also have like a vivid image in my mind of like landscapes and settings and all this, and I really kind of hope that the music evokes that as well. So it's kind of a combination of my own like feelings and whatnot at the time, plus I don't know, kind of imagination, I guess. Yeah. Seeing things and hearing things. Music is like the most important thing. I absolutely adore music, so I'm like constantly listening to music pretty much. And so in terms of inspiration musically, a lot of the people who I've been on like these small little DIY labels have really inspired me and like pushed me to refine my sound and to be better, and to just I think DIY stuff can sometimes be a little sloppy, and impromptu things can be a little sloppy. And they've always pushed me to like, hey, make sure you're not being lazy with your music. Like, make sure you're really pushing and making it crisp and making it something worthwhile. So I mean, like artists like Devin Dart, who used to make music under Make Believe Bombs, was a really big inspiration to me. This guy Sperm Whales, who has long since quit music, was a huge inspiration to me. Just like people who made like beautiful sonic masterpieces. I started off just wanting to throw in like every piece of equipment I had and like, let's just do this. So like with my first few live shows, I just had a massive table with like 4 keyboards and a Chaos pad and a mixer. And after a while I was just kind of like, man, I don't know how to use any of these like to their full extent. So I just kind of broke it down, and I cut out all of the, or pretty much all of the any type of like Fruity Loops or like Ableton and all that stuff. Like, not that that's an issue or I have a problem with it. I just wanted to learn one thing very specifically. So my setup now is pretty much just a guitar. I usually use a Fender Telecaster or Epiphone Sheraton 2, I think. It's a semi-hollow body guitar with a nice like resonating tone. And then I also use a Micro Korg, which is kind of your run-of-the-mill analog synth. You know, it's got a bunch of presets and you can toggle it all very much. And I've really enjoyed kind of trying to learn that specific keyboard. It's not hard, but there's a lot to it. And so I usually run all of that through an effects board. It's a Boss effects board. So I've got like, I can throw like a little bit of distortion on something or some extra reverb. And then I put an extra delay pedal onto that if I really need to make it spacey. And then all of that goes into this little loop pedal that my friend Drew has pretty much given me at this point. I don't know, we're really bad about swapping gear and then never swapping back. And this piece it's a flashback, and it has a loop function, but it's only a single loop. So that was like that really challenged me to like, hey, make sure you know what you're playing, because you only get one shot, and if you like screw up this loop, then the whole thing just goes to shit. And that's bad, obviously, in the middle of the set. So yeah, it all comes out through a flashback loop pedal, which then runs to, when I'm just here practicing, I just run it through a guitar amp, but I try to run it through like, you know, better sound systems live. I've got an album that I finished that is like, I don't know, I'm the most proud of, I guess. I really love this last album I finished, so I'm trying to figure out the logistics of how to get that out. If I just want to stream it, or if I want to send it to somebody and maybe get it released. I've got a video collaboration project coming out with a friend eventually, and I'm moving up to Michigan here in like a month, I think. So you know, there's a lot of new people up there I hope to, you know, collaborate or, you know, just kind of pick up a little bit of influence from. And I don't know, I really don't see a time when I will stop doing Deadman's Lifestyle, because making the music is kind of important to like my sanity, I guess, to kind of remove myself. So I don't know, I guess I'm gonna keep trucking forward and, you know, playing shows. I intend on making playing shows a more important part of what I do, because I kind of let it sit on the back burner for so long. I don't think I played at a show for 4 years with Deadman's Lifestyle until my first show. So I definitely want to play more shows with that. And I don't know, I really am hoping to get on the Billboard Top 100 and blow up the top 40s, obviously. Maybe some collabs with, I don't know who's yeah, so I'm just gonna keep doing what I do, I guess, and if people like it, cool, and if they don't, then I mean, I like it, so there you go.